If you're out networking right now, you're probably wasting your time. So you better be doing it right. Hi, I'm Brian LaFauci.
And I'm Patrick Marino.
And welcome back to another Blunt Force Business Podcast.
What are we going to do today? We got a good one?
We had a great one.
We
We're
got
going
a
to tell
good one.
everybody who's been going to networking events forever why they are completely wasting their time. They're going to be
Networking
psyched.
is a waste. And this is I think this is a good one because I suck at networking.
So you're psyched that it's a waste of time here.
I suck at networking, so tell me that I don't have to do it.
Yeah, you don't have to do it. You
Yeah,
don't have to.
and Brian's like really into networking. Brian does networking events
I love it.
all
I
the
waste
time.
my time all the time.
Yeah, he's just really good at wasting his time.
It's networking has just become this. It's like anything. We talk about a lot of things that have broad categories that overarch all these other small little things, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we talk back to a fatherhood video. We talked about the deadbeat dad, and there's this like overarching thing, and there's all these lanes, right? I feel like this is that.
Yeah,
I feel like
networking has a bad name in my eyes.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and a lot of networking is complete bullshit, and it deserves a bad name.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people out there that just, I network here, I do this, I do that. Or that's all well and good, except you are wasting. You wouldn't do anything else in your business that shotgun approach.
Right. Yeah,
I don't think nothing. You wouldn't be like, let's just throw it at the wall. You
Right.
wouldn't plan your operations that way. You wouldn't plan your, But for some reason, we have this approach that, you just take this shotgun approach to networking. Yeah, it'll be okay.
Well, I think a lot of it too is that just like I have a business idea and I'm starting my business, and then people, what do I do? How do I get there? Well, why don't you do some networking?
Yeah, well, they say
and
that.
then,
right?
and then you Google network or
Yeah,
whatever. You
yeah.
go on Facebook
Find
and
it.
you look for networking, and it's all
Stupid
this
event.
ridiculous sort of stuff. So we're going to talk about today is you need to build business relationships instead of network. Networking is a waste of time. Instead, you should be building actual business
I hope so.
relationships.
Yeah. Well, let's talk through it.
And you're the good one, so you can lead us.
All right, great. Blunt Force fact number 1 for today in our networking series is business cards collect dust, not profit.
I mean, I know that so well because I have these piles of business cards from networking events and from like shows and things like that where just like, I don't know why I still keep them.
I just wish they made better toilet paper because you can't use them for toilet. They're just not conducive for that. But if they did make better toilet paper, they would have a secondary use.
It's also 2023. Why are we doing it? Why that weren't doing like LinkedIn? There was like a time when I was doing a lot of LinkedIn, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But I know I have, I'm sure in my bag, I have some business cards from like something like God knows how old they are. I don't like why do I keep them?
Yeah, and it's this concept, this very old concept of just, hey, remember me,
Right,
remember
yeah,
me,
yeah.
remember me, remember me, remember me. And we've gotten to such I have, shame to say it, I have a metal business card that I don't give out, that people just scan the little QR code. And even that to me, the reason I like that is because at least now I'm in your phone and not in the bottom of your
for sure.
bag,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah. The QR
so when
code
I
is
say
good.
right, so when I say to you, when someone's like, "Oh, your business card," and I take this thing out, and it's funny, sometimes people take it like I'm like, the fucking thing was $50. I'm like, it's not like I'm not like I don't
you're
have
not rolling with $50 business cards right now?
Like but people will take it all the time, and I'm gonna take that back. Just scan the QR code.
Well, one of my favorite scenes of all time was American Psycho,
Yeah.
where they're freaking throwing the business cards down with the certain, here's the font and here's the color,
Oh,
it's
the
the bone
thickness,
color, and
the-
it just falls to the floor. And Patrick Bateman is just mortified because that guy's business card is so much better than his.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
a
feel like
great-
we're really kind of dating ourselves. Do people do business cards anymore?
They do.
They definitely do at those networking
Oh my God,
events. Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure. Yeah.
And we have, I am in a couple networking groups, obviously, and and people will come into the group and they'll pass around their business card, and I get it. I just think, one, it's so missing the point. That's number one. It really is missing the point. You think because you gave me like this thing that all of a sudden I value what you do because
Right.
now I like, front of mind, be front of. Listen, I'm not referring anything that I am not 100% confident in is going to come, because I've done that and it's come back to haunt me. Like, you ever make a bad referral?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh,
yeah, I have,
Jesus. It's the worst.
Or it's bad when somebody refers you. Somebody's referred me and it's not been good for them because I didn't follow through. Not because I didn't follow through on a contact. I was a bad match. Like, someone referred me. So you're talking about like you're
made a bad referral. Yeah, I'm talking
you made
about
a
the
bad
other way.
referral,
Like,
but I'm talking about it's really bad when you get referred and it was a bad, and now you feel bad.
It doesn't fit. Yeah. I don't really even do that. I don't know why you're calling me. That's interesting. I'm talking more along the lines of, you got someone says, hey, do you know this guy? And you're like, and you think, oh yeah, I just met this guy. Right.
Yeah.
And so you want to fill the void.
Yeah.
And then you make this, and sometimes even more than that. Sometimes you might even know them pretty well. And then it turns into a shit show, and who do they call? They're calling you. Right. Hey, I reach out to this guy. I'm not hearing back. And now you're the last thing you want to do.
That's what I mean.
As
like,
an
if somebody refers me and they don't know me very well, and they don't know what I do very well, right? Then it's like, well, So it's like, I also think, so it's like not about collecting business cards, right? It's about the conversation, right? You want to actually build a relationship with the person and actually have a conversation with them, and then you'll know, is this person the person that I'm going to do business with? Right. Not just based on the fact that I saw their business card and I forgot the conversation that I had with them. It's just still here, and that's the top of mind thing. It's not about collecting the business cards. It's not about, we talked about in the past, it's not about your social media following, right? It's not about the numbers. It's not about the cards you collect. Back in the day when we were kids, right? You'd go to bars. There was no cell phones. Right. You'd collect phone numbers. Yeah. On napkins.
On your hands sometimes.
At the end of the day, you'd be like, how many phone numbers?
Wake up the next morning and be like, ooh.
How many phone numbers did I get? Like, and then what did I get out of that night? Yeah. Usually I got nothing. Yeah. I got a bunch of phone numbers.
You did.
But I got nothing out of it.
No one's going to answer the next day.
Yeah, exactly. It's like about the important conversations that you have. It's not about the numbers.
Yeah. And let's think about the interaction too. So the reason I use that business card is twofold. One, I carry one on me. That's it, right? I think when I bought them, they sent me like 3, and I keep one in each of my cars, and then I have one in my little wallet, right? So I always have one on me. So one, it's the interaction of somebody grabs it, and they're like, oh, that's cool, right? And then before they go to put it in their pocket. And then it's now as you're scanning it, it's not I'm at an event, you spoke for a minute, gave 40 cards to everybody that was sitting there, and then I never talked to you. My card forces an interaction that I have to have with you. Mm-hmm. You have to sometimes, I'd be in an event where maybe I spoke, and then people want to connect and like, hey, do you and they have to wait in line. Yeah, because I'm interacting with this one, and they remember those, and you remember them because if someone was like, hey, yeah, I was at that event, you have no idea who they are. Oh, I got your business. Oh, that's great, right? That's all bullshit. So business cards collect dust. Find better ways to connect with people that at least are going to start an interaction that breaks down to the real point of networking, which is like we're starting relationship building. Right. Yep. We are not just collecting.
We're making
contacts.
We're making money.
Yes.
It's all about the bottom line. It's our blunt force fact, not in this one, but in general. Yeah. It's all about the actual results, right? The dollars and cents. It is not about something like just, here's how many cards I got from this event. Here's how many people I met. That's not it.
So anyways, I took us down a little rabbit hole.
I'm going out to bars and collecting phone numbers on napkins, and you've got some on your hand.
So business cards collect dust. Okay, not profit. That's blunt force fact number 2. That's blunt force fact number 1. Let's jump to blunt force fact number 2, which is big fan of mine. Switch that, reverse it. I'm a big fan of his. He's dead. He doesn't know it anymore. But Kenny Rogers.
He's dead?
Yes.
When was that?
Kenny Rogers passed away, I think, this last year.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah.
I have a friend named Kenny Rogers that speaks to that the Instagram post we saw.
That was a great post, by the way.
Kenny Rogers.
All right, so we can use that one. Yeah. Blunt force fact number 2.
He'd be back from the dead, too. He'd be back from the dead if he was giving a testimonial. Blunt force fact number 2, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Blunt force fact number 2 is... rest in peace, Kenny Rogers. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm not good at networking, so you're going to have to describe this one.
I want you. Have you ever been to a BNI group?
Yeah, I mean, they're terrible. Yes, I've been to a few.
They can be rough.
Yeah.
So, one of the things in those
Nothing
groups
against
is,
BNI if they
no,
watch
no.
this,
I
if
mean,
you watch
I
this,
think
yeah.
that, I think
it's all New York life.
yeah.
They're all in retirement. They're all in they're all these, New York life is a big one, I feel like. And then realtors, right? I mean, that's who's at these events.
Yeah.
Or there's the little circle jerk, which is you got the realtor, you got the mortgage guy, you got the construction guy,
No,
right? And you got
on.
these are the guys, and they all just referring each other business. This is great.
Right,
and I'm there with something that's not related to what they're doing.
Very frequently.
Good thing I went.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invite.
Very frequently, as the business consultant in the group, it takes me a long time to let people really understand what a good sometimes people feel guilty and they'll just start I got this person you should talk to, and I'm like, oh, thanks. Thanks for wasting 30 minutes of my life talking to this person I know is going to...
In the know where to hold them and know where to fold them, what you would advise me would be to say, stop going to that group and don't talk to those people
No,
anymore.
not necessarily. It wouldn't be necessarily start going to that. Maybe. If the whole group is...
If we're relating to the fact, though, the blunt force fact.
Yes. And the reason... Let me back into that a little bit, because the reason why... I brought up those kind of groups is, and a lot of groups are like this, what they really push is you are going to every week, right? You're going to have a one-to-one with someone in the group.
Yep.
So if you got 20 people in a group, right? Average size group, that means that you are meeting with that person about 2 to 3 times a year.
Right.
Okay. For an hour, maybe.
Right.
You're going to get together. Out of that group of 20, how many of them are really good referrals, or would you even refer people to?
Right. Zero.
No, well, I'm not
Zero.
I'm not giving the zero. I'm not giving the zero just yet. But my point is that let's go back to time and effort. And all right, should you meet with them maybe once to get a feel? Yeah, probably. Can you get a really good feel just from listening to them talk in their weekly spiels about whether or not really you think? Probably. And if you can, you got to fold them.
Right.
You got to fold. You got to just say, you know what? I know what we're supposed to be doing here. And yeah, you got to tread lightly. You probably don't want to say that up front. Like, hey, listen, I got nothing for you. But I'm not going to, and it's not because it's nothing personal. It's nothing like,
oh no, of course not.
You want to come over? You want to come over and watch the Super Bowl?
We're not
Great,
just
come
networking.
over.
We're not just networking for a purpose.
Right.
Networking is a waste of time.
Right.
You want to build a business relationship where you feel like
People don't do that.
Yeah.
We go you go to these groups and they'll report out at the end and be like, all right, here's the one-to-ones. And I think to myself, holy shit, you're
or they
drinking
do
the
have
Kool-Aid.
parties.
You're drinking the Kool-Aid.
They do. It's more of a social thing than it is an actual business.
Well, I mean,
relationship.
some of them are. But I think when it comes to networking, one of the key things is it's very much like Tinder. And you got to know when to just swipe left and say, all right, listen, there's nothing here for us.
Right.
And you don't have to say that out loud, but don't buy into the rhetoric of a lot of these groups and just continually over and over again be sitting down with people where it is not your avatar.
Right, exactly.
It's not your avatar. It's not, and it doesn't seem like their circle is your avatar either.
Right, exactly. Yeah, especially when you're in the circle jerk and you're just like waiting for it. All right, here it is.
And
here
you're
it
right.
is,
Like
here it is.
I can tell you in some of the groups there'll be like a couple people and they're great for each other and good for them.
Yep.
They're constantly, I got
And
one for
that's
you.
like-
You got one for me. I got
That's
one for
not
you.
networking. That's a business relationship.
Yes.
If you got a mortgage guy, a realtor, and a guy who does
Yes.
construction,
Yes.
and you're just, like that's a business relationship.
Absolutely.
That's not networking anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
You've
which
gone
is
past it. Yeah.
which is where we're trying to get.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is where we're trying to get. And once you find it, it's there, then we're going to move on and we'll get to blunt force fact number 3. I don't want to jump the gun on that, but you have to be able to discern when entering into these things where you should spend your time and where you shouldn't. And what does that mean to me? It's like you got to evaluate what type of groups you're going to. The overarching thing for me and I've gotten to this point, and maybe there's some good in it, some bad in it, but I'm looking to make friends here. And so at the end of the day, if the event structure leads me to be able to kind of do that, great. If it doesn't, I'm out. I'm out. If it's too formal, because we've had when we had the sport complex, when we owned the sport complex, we had set up a thing where we had our operations director going to, and this group had to have 60, 70 people in it.
Right.
And at the time, it was being done online. And now looking back on it, I feel bad I sent him.
Right.
Because he was forced to sit through 60 minutes of 1 minute presentations from people. I would have smashed my face into the desk if it was me.
Yeah.
And to give his 1 minute.
Right.
It you know, you got to find yourself in the right space, right? Go to the right. If it's not the right fit, fold it. Don't just keep going to say you're networking.
Right. Or to say that you're putting in the effort. I really put in the effort. I said I was going to go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I talked to somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of people do that. They just, they get comfortable. Yeah. Oh, this fits into my schedule. It's Tuesday mornings and I'm just going to keep going.
I like Joe. I see Joe every morning. I ask him how he did.
Yes.
Like the whole thing. Yep.
Yeah. At the end of the day, if we're going to go down this road and we're going to do this, then God damn it, we got to make it impactful. So know when to hold on to people, that there's a real ability there, and know when to just let it go. And do not waste your time because some organization says, it's our policy. You guys, we have one-to-ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, their policy,
we're results driven. We're not about wasting time.
Yeah. Their policy hurts your profits. You can tell them that any way you want to tell them that, nice or not nice. Cool. So blunt force fact number 2, rest in peace, Kenny Rogers. Know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Yeah. I'm
sure that on our Instagram post, when we do clips of this video, that's going to be the underlying song, which is great. Keep me happy. Maybe. Blunt force fact number 3, when it comes to networking, is friends turn into funds. So really what you are looking for on this journey is you're looking to make friends. And those are
You're
the
looking
people.
for relationships.
Yeah.
Business relationships.
Which is friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I think my personal opinion on business development has always been, if I really can't see any potential friendship here, then it's going to be a struggle to work as a business relationship.
Right.
They're so similar in how they need to work. Trust, enjoyment of the other person. Yes, their product or service really does matter. That's not out of the question. But in a true business relationship, for someone what's the point of networking? For people to refer you business. So it's not even necessarily what that person does.
Right.
That person might not be a client of yours ever.
Right.
But if they have a trust and a friendship and a liking for you, that's where it all comes in. Right. And you need to water those. You need to foster those into real, strong, meaningful relationships.
Right. So you're finding people that you identify with, you're finding people that you share common things in, and then you have to have some respect for what they do. Because if you can do all those things and you stay in touch with those people, then when the opportunity comes up, now you have a referral for them. Mm-hmm. Because you believe in them, you can vouch for them. Yeah. And now it's a really good referral versus just kind of I know a guy. I know a guy. I don't know how good they are, but met him at an event. Why don't you give him a call?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just to do it because we've got this quota that BNI set for us. How many referrals did you give? I gave 3 referrals. You know what I mean?
Right.
Instead of the quota, it's an actual
it means something.
Long term even.
It means something. It's not transactional. It's meaningful. Yeah. And I would say the best business relationships I have are all rooted in something way beyond that, where most of the time these are people that I'm going to dinner with, and not because I'm checking a box, because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to play golf with because I enjoy it, or whatever it might be, right? They've been to my house. It's beyond that piece of, I see you here, I see you there. And those feed, I feed them, they feed me, we feed each other. That's what this whole thing's about.
Yeah. We probably both. I was only in business for a short period of time. It's only been a few years. When I started, there's 1 or 2 of those people that I met immediately who are now just constant feeders of new leads and new whatever. And I'm happy to give them as much business as possible. And it's because of the relationship that we've built up. It really is.
You trust them as a person. Yeah. They'll do right. Yeah. They work hard. Yeah. All those things, and you have a working relationship where it's easy and it's fun. It's enjoyable, and that's what we're looking for here. We're looking for those kind of situations. And you build those. That's where your efforts need to be. The shotgun approach to networking needs to go away.
Right.
You need to not fall into the trap that is networking as to why we would
Well, it's almost
say
like we should retire the term.
we should absolutely
There's no
retire
more
the term.
networking. Just build business relationships instead.
Yeah.
Because networking, again, it's like this cast this wide net and then hope some things fall into place versus, and it's just like like a daily chore. It's like a chore. Networking is like a chore. Building business relationships is like this very deliberate.
Yep.
Here's what I'm trying to do. Here's what I want to get out of it. And I do like the, Brian and I were talking before this video. We had a marketing class yesterday. And we talked about partnerships, and like one of the partnerships that I brought up were all like, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. They were all extremely transactional. It was like, we'll sell your product if you promote our product. I mean, it was like that. But I think with this conversation, this is very much, we build the relationship, and it doesn't matter what I get out of it.
Right.
I'm going to maybe get nothing out of it.
Yep.
Because I've got a good relationship.
Yeah.
Right. And it will maybe it's not this relationship with this person, but maybe it's somebody they know. You know what I mean? It's like, it's an actual network versus just the collecting of business cards and the whole thing.
Yeah, and through those things just grow and they flourish and they grow. And when people get to know you and learn more about you and just know all the little nuances of who you are and what you do, it's magical, like the little things that come out of that, because they know you better. They understand you better. And so whereas opportunity is tough to discern from someone who you've had a 20-minute conversation with and, on a very superficial level, I don't even know, where to start. Opportunity is easy to send someone's way when you know them at a deep enough level that there's, their interests, their likes, the general things about them that make them happy. So much easier to water that flower.
Are you telling me I don't have to go to networking groups anymore?
I'm telling you that you need to start going to more networking groups and utilize them effectively. And I think our listeners need to understand that how they are networking could be flawed. And it could be the biggest waste of their time because they're not letting go. And I think this is the biggest takeaway. And that's why the title of this video is what it is you got to be comfortable with dumping the stuff or dumping the people that just aren't going to do anything for you. And if you're going to go to all these events, well, you need to go at them with a different approach than I'm going to meet 100 people.
Right.
And out of those 100 people, maybe one of them is going to refer me. No. Out of those 100 people, when you do that, your goal should be your time is much better spent with forming a deep relationship with 10 and not continuing to go to more networking events, right? Like if you find someone that you really connect with, you can ditch the hour networking event for the next month and spend that time on that relationship.
Yep.
And that's where the everything blooms. What we do is we don't do that. We don't pivot when we should. We don't hold what we should hold. And we think, all right, great, I got that one. Let me go again. We don't do what we should be doing with that one person that will really lead to something. Right. So no, you should be going, but you need to ditch the traditional.
I'm probably not going to go.
Okay.
But I'm building business relationships in other
we all have our
venues,
ways.
right?
We all have our ways, and we all have our strengths. And we
and Brian's a networker,
and we can.
You can just tell by listening to our stuff. Brian's the one who's building the relationships, and I'm just the asshole, right?
That might be a strong word, but I think it is important to know your strengths and what plays well to you. And if that setting is not for everybody, and if it's not for you in your business, then I believe, and I think Patrick, you'd agree with me, that looking at who in the company is going to do that is important, right? And how are we going to get those? And we do that because we balance each other.
Right, exactly.
Right? So there are pieces that you do well that I can't do and hate doing, and vice versa. When it comes to the networking piece of that, I'm going to do that more in this relationship. Yep. And you need to look at your company in that same way. Like if you don't avoid this realm just because it's not a comfort zone for you, do it well. Don't do the nonsense that these quote unquote overarching networking groups say you should do if it doesn't work for you. But if you need someone on your team to do it, then figure that out and figure out a way you're getting it. So this was a great one.
This was a good one.
I loved it. 3 blunt force facts. Blunt force fact number 1, business cards collect dust, not profit. Blunt force fact number 2, know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Keep the people close to you should and dump the others. Blunt force fact number 3, friends turn into funds. That's where the real money comes, in real relationships.
Don't waste your time networking. Build business relationships instead.
Love it. I'm Brian LaFauci.
Patrick Marino.
See you next time.
Thank you.